Nestor, we saw you throughout the season on days where you started very calm, very loose. What did you learn going through the Cleveland series about being in the postseason? Were you able to maintain that same sort of level, and what do you anticipate tomorrow being like for you?
Yeah, I tried to keep the same kind of game day routine that I had for the playoffs. Those two games were just as if I was starting a regular season game for me. Like I said, I know the stakes were higher. Everything's gonna be more magnified. But as far as the way that I went about it was kind of the same through the day. And of course, tomorrow I'm making my third start of the postseason. Obviously, the ALCS first time. And I think I'll approach it the same way. I don't think nothing changes. The goal is still to go out there and throw as many quality innings as I can. And I think that's the way I've done it the whole year, and that's why I've had the success I've had.
And on the far right, Tim.
After going on short rest last time, how did your arm and body bounce back between starts, and did you do everything you normally do?
Yeah, I was pretty sore the next day. I would say as usual. I don't think going on short days affected me that much. And as far as these 4 days before tomorrow, I've done the same thing I've done all season. It's worked for me. I've gone into a training room every day. I've done all my rehab stuff, to be ready for tomorrow.
And then, if I may, you faced these guys once during the regular season, I believe. In hindsight, what do you remember, if anything, about that game, and do you take anything from it into tomorrow?
Altuve hit a home run on first pitch of the game, jumped up the fastball, and then I might have got into trouble in the third or fourth inning where I allowed 2 runs to, I believe it was a double down the line to Jeremy Pena, and then maybe a broken bat or soft contact to center field. I think the game plan was spot on that time around. Obviously, it's been months since that happened, and we're gonna be able to adjust based on what we've seen the last 2 games and tonight. I think what I see tonight is gonna be very important. And then tomorrow we'll speak about it more.
Yeah, Ron up front, then Brian.
When you drop arm slot, do you decide that once you settle on the pitch with Higgy or Trevino, or do you just decide in the windup to do that?
To drop down?
Yeah.
No, I think it's predetermined once I get the ball back from Trevino or Higgy. Obviously, there's only 2 pitches I throw from there, which is a fast one, the slider. I think that's no secret to anybody. But I usually, as soon as I get the ball back and I'm walking towards the rubber again to get ready, is when I decide. And then depending on the pitch that he calls, it allows me to either confirm that we're gonna do it, or just shut it down and go with what pitches he calls. So no, it's predetermined once I get the ball back.
And you decided just based on that's when you think best to disrupt the timing of the batter?
Yeah, same thing. I think that just happens on the spot, depending on the game of the situation of the game, and the count we're in, allows me to improvise at that moment.
On your left, Brian.
I'll follow up on that. Do you have a name for it when you do that? Is there something you call it?
No, I haven't really thought of a name for it. I just it's worked. It worked last year a little bit. I continue to do it this year. It had some success, so maybe I'll come up with a name in this offseason.
And then I was going to ask you, you obviously lived through Aaron Judge, the whole chase for 62. What has he meant to this team and this organization? How would you sum that up or describe it?
He's met everything. I think I'm able to say that if he's back here next year, he's our captain. He's the next captain. We follow everything he does. He leads by example. He's not really a guy that comes out and screams at anybody, or but if he has to, that's his job. I think he's earned that right to keep us in check. And the way that what allows him to be so great, I feel like, is he's a great baseball player, but he's a better human. He treats everybody the same. He follows up on everybody every day, and that's what allows him to be who he is.
Fourth row on your right, Nestor. Mark.
Hey, Nestor, just following up on that, have you told him that? Have you told him that he should be the next captain?
No, I'm sure he knows it already. I mean, just the way that we play around him and act around him, he's just a guy for it, you know. I feel like we follow his steps, you know, every time. Like I've said before, he's the last one to leave from the clubhouse on the road, and we don't leave until he leaves. We just follow his act. We follow everything he does. I think he's a perfect example for the game of baseball, for the kids that are coming up and learning from the game. You know, sometimes I ask myself, how does he have so much time to stop for interviews and you know, signatures? But he finds a way, and that's what makes him great.
And I presume you haven't told Boone or Cashman that either.
No.
Not yet.
This is just me going out on a limb and saying this. So, and I think I mean most of the guys in there agree with me. You know, he's the best to do it.
And just back to you for a second. Do you allow yourself to think about how big the game is tomorrow, or do you try not to think about that?
I acknowledge how big it is. Obviously, you know, if we win tonight, we don't want to go 3-1, and if we lose tonight, we don't want to go, you know, 3-0. So, or 4-0. It's obviously it's a big situation for me, and like I said before, I'm up for the challenge. You know, I feel like this is a win-win for me. I'm pitching the ALCS, and if we win, you know, we have more life. So, I'm just happy to be here and take advantage of the opportunity.
Oh, the fourth row in the right aisle there.
Nestor, hi. Could you just talk a little about the lift that Harrison has given you guys this postseason and what he's meant to the club?
Yeah, it's been great. Obviously, we got him over here, and he was hurt. We didn't know what to expect from him, but he's definitely turned it on. He's definitely been a you know, somebody for us that's been great in every situation of the playoffs so far. He's a great clubhouse guy. He's really good people, and he cares about all the guys in there, and that's what makes him great too. He adjusted to what we were doing here, the philosophy we had, and he gelled right with us. So for him to come out and do that with us and to perform how he's been performing, it's been great. So hopefully he can continue.
Thank you.
Yep. The second row on your left.
Nestor, those first two postseason starts, was there anything maybe about just the atmosphere, the crowd, the vibe in the first game that took you by surprise that second start you then knew to prepare for or expect when you're on the mound?
No, I think the whole season has prepared for this moment. I think, like I said before, you know, Tuesday night in the Bronx, it's packed house. You know, we're playing Oakland, the Oakland A's or whoever we were playing, but that allowed us to have that same energy going into the playoffs. Packed house again, obviously a little bit more noise and, like I said, more magnified to the situation. But I didn't think the second game was any different from the first game I pitched. Obviously, I gave up 2 runs that first game, but I think you know, the atmosphere, the fans, what was at stake, everything was kind of the same for me. So. I go out there every time and pitch like it's my last day. So nothing really changed from 1 to 2.
Thanks.
John in the second row on your right, Nestor.
Obviously, you know, you pitch Game 5 against Cleveland, and the optimistic fans are like, it's cool, we have Nestor going. You're down 2-0 against Houston, and, you know, you're hearing from the fans who want to be optimistic, like, it's cool, we have Garrett and we have Nestor. I know you've always been very humble about kind of what the journey has been like, but do you ever stop to just think, like, the fans are putting you on that pedestal at this point, that you've kind of elevated your career to the point where people can think that way about you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It feels great. It feels great to know that fans are actually, you know, excited to watch me pitch or to have me in that role to pitch a decisive game for us potentially, you know, and to have that I guess that optimism for me to go out there and pitch well, you know. I think it's good to have that pressure because, you know, you're liked around the city, and hopefully, you know, in the community of the Hispanics and the Cubans, like from where I'm from. So just to be in that position, if it feels great, and I'm happy everybody's, you know, rooting along with me.
We'll stay there with Nathan, then Ron.
Nestor, you spoke about Aaron Judge's leadership. I wanted to ask you about Garrett Cole, and just the way that he's a leader for you guys on the starting staff. I mean, how beneficial has it been to have him here during your first postseason experience?
It's been amazing. Not even on the postseason, just the regular season alone. I came in this year planning to, throw, 25 starts, maybe 150 innings, and for me to do that, I would have to take care of my body, in between starts and know what the recovery is. And he's been super helpful for me because he's done it for a long time. Obviously, he goes 200 plus every year. And for me to have him on my side and ask him, and what was his opinion on this, and what should I do here, and what should I do there. I think that's why I got to 28 starts and 158 innings because of him. Because he told me he would set the way for me and tell me, how to prepare and how to go about your recovery between starts. So a lot of credit to him for helping me.
A couple more. Ron, right up front.
When was the point where, when you were walking down the street in the city, people started recognizing you and calling you out?
As soon as I took my mask off from last year. No, last year I used to take the subway. Nobody really recognized me because of the mask, like I said. But I think it was this year, maybe like 3 or 4 starts into the season. Remember going shopping one day and, getting stopped a few times to take pictures and, just greet me. So that felt kind of cool. And now it's just everywhere I go is a little hoodie on and stuff. But no, it's great. It's great to be recognized. It's obviously, and when you're doing good, it's even better because people like you. But hopefully, I'm still loved from here on out.